What is up, everybody? Josh here again, and today we have an Icarus Week 83 update. This week they added armor-piercing rounds, and they overhauled the hardened point damage system. Also made some changes to the Orbital Workshop UI and how it's organized, and a few other things. Let's get into it, shall we? So week 83, armor-piercing ammo. They added armor-piercing rounds, and they've overhauled the hardened point damage system. They also made some changes to the UI in the Orbital Workshop. So armor-piercing ammo. This week they added armor-piercing ammo. It's a new ammo variation, and this is available for firearms, while crossbows already have this perk innately. And the new armor-piercing bullets comes with a new stat called the hardened point penetration stat, essentially bypassing the hardened hitbox areas of an animal, allowing more success if your accuracy isn't up to par. Armor-piercing bolts have also had their stats adjusted, and in most cases replacing the hardened point damage perk with the hardened point penetration, although in some cases hardened point damage still exists. So in the tech tree we're going to go to tier 3, and that's where we're going to find the new armor-piercing ammo. Deals differ per recipe, made at the machining bench, and you can learn this in tier 3. It's about midways through there, right next to the explosive ammo and incendiary ammo. And at the very bottom you'll notice armor-piercing rifle round. Requires platinum sheath and rifle round to craft one. And also you have the armor-piercing pistol round as well, and it just requires a pistol and a platinum sheath. So another reason to dump your platinum into platinum sheath would be to make some armor-piercing rounds if you want to. And we have both types of armor-piercing rounds. We're going to go ahead and shoot from both types of weapons and show you what it does. So we have the pistol, and we're going to go ahead and load up and shoot the armor-piercing round into the green protected area there. You notice we hit it with a melee tool. You'll see the little protected marker that pops up. And we're going to go ahead and shoot it with the pistol and the armor-piercing round. See, we're doing about 100 damage. Looks like it's still protected, though. Shoot dead center, 400. Outer should be 2-something, 250, and then the outer is about 100. So we're going to switch it over to a regular pistol bullet, not the armor piercing. That's the armor piercing. This is regular. There we go. So about dead center, we're getting 400 still. 250, and then only 25. So as you can see, it's about 75 points. Switch back over to the Arm Peen, and we're getting 75 more points of damage. So you may ask, what is this going to be useful for? Well, this is going to be useful for stuff like the scorpions or scorpion bosses, even the tops of the crocodiles, and any animal that has like an armored area. You can still shoot them and get at least a little bit more damage on that animal. Of course, criticals are always going to be your best. We have a criticals video on the channel if you want to check that out. We can show you where every single critical of every animal in the game is. Next up, we have the rifle, and we're actually going to go ahead and shoot it at the same target here. And we're going to load up the armor piercing first. Empty a clip, about 2 in each. We'll start out with the armored or outer side of this target. 250. $750 in the center there. Dead center should be 1,000 plus. Yep, 1,250. We're actually gonna go ahead and load up some regular rifle ammo and do a direct comparison. 75. 900 for the center. 1,500 for the dead. That's actually quite interesting. Regular rifle rounds seem like they're doing more damage. This is Arm Peen. This is regular. Let's shoot at the bear target a little bit. We got Arm Peen in right now. 250 in the leg. 1250 in the head. Switch over to the regular rifle. 75. And 1500. So it is doing more actual damage to critical zones. So they go into armor piercing changes, and they said that this update, they provide a rebalance for the stats of hardened point damage and perks related to the combat. In week 36, they introduced the hitboxes that were more detailed on creatures, had weakened and strengthened zones on their body. And to achieve that, they had a stat they added called hardened point damage, to increase or decrease the damage done to the hardened points on the creature, such as horns, tusks, shells, skulls, etc. All creatures started with a value of -75, meaning that the player's damage reduced by 75% for the toughest hardpoint zones, and regular hardpoint zones started at -37.5, a 37.5% reduction. On crossbows, they had stats that would reduce this value, move it closer to 0 reduction. For example, plus 75% improvement, which meant they were hitting the toughest hardpoint. You could deal 100% of the possible damage. The issue, however, with this approach was that you would receive the buff when hitting regular hardpoint zones, which only received 37.5% reduction. This means that players would end up delivering 37.5% more damage than intended, and they do an equation there as far as that goes, which was an unintentional buff that broke the balance of the system. They have reworked the damage alongside of introducing new hardened points penetration stat, giving 3 stats that they can interchange to provide the right balance, which is hardened point penetration, hardened point damage, and hardened point protection. The new hardened point zone damage modification stat works as follows. It's based on creature stat with a 75% reduction in damage. That's the hardened point protection. Then hardened point penetration is a percentage value between 0 and 100 on weapons and ammo that reduces the -75% closer to 0. A 0% hardened point penetration means -75% damage reduction, and 100% hardened point penetration, which means 0% damage reduction. And thank God they give us an example or scenario. Crossbows has an innate hardened point penetration of 100%, meaning all their shots will bypass hardened points. Damage reduction of 75% is reduced to 0%. That means it basically balances out to 0. You'll get a regular hit on them. You go 100% through hardened points. So using metal bolts, which is 81 to 90, with basic crossbow, which is 0% projectile damage increase. Normal would get you 81 to 90. Hard point would get you 81 to 90 because, there's no hard point. It's reduced by 75%, which makes it pretty much null and void. And extra hard point is the same, which is 81 to 90. The notch attachment crossbows can also do 25% damage if hitting a hardened point. If the penetration is 100%, which in this case it is, this is the hardened point damage stat coming into play. And metal bolts will do 81 to 90 with a basic crossbow, which has no projectile damage increase. With prototype notch, which increases it by 25%, it'll have plus 25% hard point damage. So if you're using a metal bolt with the projectile type notch attachment, you're going to get normal hits is about 102 to 113. Hardpoint is 126 to 140. And extra hardpoint is 113 to 127. They also had a workshop revamp, and the Orbital Workshop has received a UI revamp, designing it to be more like a blueprint tree on planet, utilizing multiple smaller trees rather than one large tree. They believe it has a cleaner experience and helps balance out each branch individually, provide a singular path, focus on specific tools and items, and they say it's going to be easier for them to add more Orbital Workshop items in the future, and they're working on some new workshop items. With this change, they also made some items now locked behind an increased number of lower tier items, because they want you to take crap before you get to what you actually want, like most games. One important thing to note is that it does not change any workshop progress or anything you've unlocked in the past. You'll still have it unlocked regardless if it was moved or not. Let's take a look at the workshop real quick. So here we are at the new workshop, and we have several different options here. As you can see, it does say you can scroll or zoom in. It doesn't actually let me do so. You can still pan over if you can pan over, but everything is sorted into enviro suits, armors, modules, You can click on gadgets, and that's gadgets, that's armors, and for some reason backpacks is with armors. Just gonna have to remember that, guys. I know you used to be able to actually easily see everything and just kind of remember where stuff was, but it's a lot different now. I think it's just more of a hassle, honestly. But you got all of your modules, your gadgets, your pickaxes and axes, knives and spears, sickles, which is just 2 things, hammers, bows, crossbows, your deployables like the MXC stuff, boxes, furnace, campfire, and your canister. Consumables, which is everything that you can get, including all of the carrot farming packets and all that good stuff. And I really wish you could actually zoom in and out, but it looks like the scroll wheel is just going right. So this is pretty, I don't really like it. It kind of reminds me a lot of the extremely bad blueprint system we have right now and how it works and how you got to scroll through stuff. It just reminds me so much of that, and I absolutely hate that. And then you also got the extraction here as well. This is all your extraction stuff, like your prototype and your radar and all that good stuff. Of course, we have everything unlocked, so you're going to see everything unlocked here. You may or may not have to. You may have to actually work down through a tier, and it's changed a little bit. But it also seems like you're not completely locked behind everything. So with armors, you got to unlock the Nanio and then unlock a few. So it's going to be a little bit easier to get to items, it seems like. It's not really tier locks, but you do have to go all the way back here. So you have to learn Nanio and CX400 just to get to the ST700 head armor. This one right here, you have to unlock 2 other backpacks just to get to that backpack. Everything is still kind of set up like a tree, but you can get to armors quicker, which is interesting. You can get to armors much quicker. You used to have to go all the way back through the tree to get to armors. Now you could just click on armors and, hey, look. Comment down below what you think about this. Personally, I don't like this change. I like the idea of being able to get the stuff a little bit faster. We got the mass dampener up front here. The Enviro suits. Look, to just get to my favorite Enviro suit, you literally have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4 Enviro suits you don't want just to get to it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Like I said, comment down below. Let me know. And we're moving on to the change log. We're going to go over some new things. We're going to go ahead and just skip straight over to fixed because we've already went over the new content for this week. Looks like they played around with the lantern a little bit this week, fixing it, and the rag torch. Honestly, other than just some fixes here and there to like deployables and just some little things here and there, I don't really see anything more important than fixed. So we'll move on to the future content. And future content is huge, guys. We have a ton of stuff in here to look over. Let's go over the most important things or something that stands out. They had mentioned about new weather systems coming in Prometheus, and here is the volcanic ember audio effects they're talking about cold steel axe again, the cold steel. Oh look, lava flyers now explode on death. Mentioned a cold steel sledgehammer, and looks like frozen ore might be a thing that you can pickaxe or sledgehammer with. Yeah, because look, right here. Cold steel sledgehammer now has a chance to give 1 frozen ore when a resource is spawned, and the cold steel pickaxe now has a chance to provide 1 frozen ore when an ore resource is mined. Talking about that new ash weather event. Now, here's a huge section of upcoming stuff coming into the game, guys. Adding new Larkwell heated canteen workshop item. Provides a modifier when they drink. Adding new Larkwell oxygen tank workshop item that provides cleaner air and applies a modifier to players when they inhale. Adding 2 variations of the new Larkwell Enviro suit to the workshop. One focused on module and backpack slots, the other on temperature. Adding 3 new arrow sets to the workshop, focusing on the new elemental effects and affliction chances. Adding 3 new bolt sets to the workshop, focusing on electric shock, explosions, and hard-hitting piercing ammo. Adding 6 new modules to the workshop. Temperature, caving, extreme affliction resistances, fishing, tamed creatures, and wound resistances. Adding icons for the Icarus arrow sets. They also mentioned they're setting up 4 new tool sets for axes, pickaxes, knives, and spears, including new stat and effects. They are adding 2 new workshop bows and 2 new workshop crossbows. Items set up basic stats and effects. Setting up new talent trees and talents for all new workshop equipment, including prices. And they talk about adding 3 new armor sets. And they talk about adding 3 new arrow sets for purchase in the workshop. Talking about the obsidian spear and knife, which of course obsidian is volcanic glass. Gonna have a cold steel arrow. Fix the skinning issue for the heavy obsidian armor arms. So we got some heavy obsidian armor. Adding wetlands, acid rain sizzle. Acid rain. I know I had mentioned hail a week or so ago. I always thought it would be pretty cool if you see like giant baseball sized hail drops just falling in the middle of a storm. Like maybe a red or something. Yeah, you might want to get to shelter. Setting up all the loot tables for Prometheus. They also mentioned setting up a creature scanning device in the workshop and a feature locking it in New Frontiers. And it looks like it's a device that scans nearby creatures as a debuff, which causes them to take extra damage and increases the user's bestiary progress. Can be done once per creature instance. This is interesting. Added new quest collision object type along with 2 new collision profiles. Looks like we're getting new fish map for Prometheus and setting up fish zones and new fish. Gonna have them Scoria building pieces and bone armor pieces. Gonna have the exotic harvester and gonna have a brick tier. Mentioning some of the new armor sets, the obsidian, heavy obsidian, and bone armor. Tweak the flyer, broodling, bomber AI behaviors. Added beam assets for iron buildable rework. And a cold steel knife will give the chilled alteration on meat when skinning, and they're adding positive ice pick hits for new ice cave wall. Adding in the Reaver base assets, rig, material, and animations. Using the cold steel axe now has a chance to provide the frosted alteration, which increases the energy burn time of sticks, fiber, and wood. Okay. Looks like we're gonna have an arid Komodo, lava hunter, and broodlings. And this is a huge future content section this week, but we may have missed 1 or 2 things, maybe, but if you see anything that you've seen that was interesting, comment down below. We'd love to hear it. But as you see, that's all the changelog right there. And thank you to the late night crew. Thank you so much, KHX. 6 months. Thank you so much for supporting the channel for half a year. We greatly appreciate that. You too as well. Wolfie, thank you so much for the 6 months of support. Sergio, with your 5 months of support, thank you so much. Sandy, 3 months of support. Thank you guys so much. Silver, 1 month. I think it was actually 24 days, but we're going to call it 1 month. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I will have some member stuff hopefully coming your way this week and some more content as well. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, to join the Late Night Crew or become a Late Night Crew supporter. Late Night Crew members get a shout out just like this. All you have to do is go over to join on the channel, and you can join as a supporter for $1.99 a month or $4.99 a month. You can be part of the Late Night Crew. Get shout outs just like these guys did. Priority replies to comments, and you're a rock star in our opinion. You also get behind the scenes extra stuff. Supporters get this as well. Custom emojis and badges. As you can see, the 6 month guys gets a 6 month badge, then a 12 month, and then a 24 month badge. But thank you guys so much, our YouTube members. We greatly appreciate the support and look forward to bringing you juicy content in the future. So we did make some changes to our Discord this week, guys. Actually, I did do some changes. We have a new way to actually interact with the server. If you join our Discord, links in the description down below. Go to our Discord rules and click on the little check mark. You'll get yourself a role, and that means you can interact with the server. We also made it easier for people to actually get the server information on our Discord, so you no longer have to actually contact an admin. You just gotta kind of read the dedicated server rules here and agree to them by clicking on the biscuit icon. The biscuit icon then will take you to a special place called the server password section, and this will display the server password for both of the servers. This basically means that you agree to the server information and rules, and Discord rules as well. And when you click the little button, you'll get a special role, which will give you this new little section right here, server password. And you can join our dedicated servers for as long as they're up and running still. And guys, that's it for this video. Don't forget, if you like what you see, to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, bringing you all kinds of new content coming soon. I'm going to try to work on some content Next week coming up may not be Icarus content, but it's definitely going to be some content that you may like to see if you like survival games as much as we do. And guys, hopefully we'll see you next time. Peace. Oh God. There's a problem there. Oh, good to see this game is doing quite well 83 weeks in.